Good morning, everyone, and very warm welcome from my side. Can you believe it? We are moving into the silly festive season, and before you know it, this year, 2022, will be over. I want to encourage you to continue to find ways to play to win. We get tired when we approach the last bit of the year, but you hang tight. The race is not over yet, but you are getting real close to the finish line. Everything we engage in will have some form of output or outcome. You might as well be intentional and be strategic about it. Today, I thought it to be a good idea to be that water person next to the road who offers you a little bit of encouragement, hope, and support to get you to the finish line. We're talking about surviving the silly season at hand. But what does silly season mean? Why are they calling it silly season? Now, it goes back as far as 1861, when the term silly season was used first in an unsigned newspaper article in the Times of London, England. Those days, in the late summer, early autumn time of the year, there was not much news from Parliament because of their summer holiday. And it was also the summer break for a few other industries. And so the journalists had nothing to write about. So they would write trivial things due to a lack of real news. So this is what was written about the silly season back in 1861. A few odd items of intelligence have come to hand this morning, one of which is that the stories so industriously propagated about Garibaldi's going to America or being invited to go are inventions utterly baseless. Got up nobody knows why or wherefore, except that at this season of the year, the silly season, cannons are in full flight. Here's some free information. Garibaldi was an Italian patriot and a military leader. A little closer to our understanding of the silly season is this time of year also called the dead season, where society has departed from holiday resorts. Yet our silly season is not in September or October, but rather December and early January, when society nowadays depart to the holiday resorts. And we as business owners experience a less busy season and in some cases dead, as the latter meaning of the silly is called. And just before we get serious about our own silly season approaching, I thought it very appropriate to give you a last bit of newspaper article from many years ago. On 20 January 1957, Gilbert Mant wrote in his column, The Way I See It, in the Sydney Morning Herald. At the moment, we are passing through what is commonly regarded in the newspaper world as a silly season. It's a sort of season when, apart from dangerous crises in Egypt, Israel, Aden, Kashmir, Poland, Hungary, and Indonesia, hardly anything ever happens. In other words, there's nothing much to write about, and you have to do as best as you can. That's why, in silly seasons, we have hoses disappearing into the ground, water running backwards in bathtubs, anti-rotary clotheslines, magic flutes, rock and roll, and various other forms of mass hysteria. I can't help but smiling. Imagine being a plumber back in 1957, water running backwards in bathtubs. Anyhow, let's break survival of the silly season down into 3 sections, and let's call it Survival 101. There's a number of admin thingies that you might want to do before you start the next year. And there might be some fun thingies that would bring the hooray into the season. And also the much needed emotional software upgrade that we all know we need. So let's kick it off with admin. As a business owner, you need to consider a few areas of your business where you would need to prepare yourself, your team, and your overall business. Your people would need some rest, and chances are that your workload will slow down over December and maybe early January. So it might be a good idea to plan a skeleton staff schedule just to keep the emergency calls at bay. Perhaps you can get away with having 1 or 2 team members on standby should there be a call out. And call outs, there will be. Make turns to divert the incoming calls to admin people. And if you are the entire admin team, perhaps advise your clients to rather WhatsApp you in case of emergency. Remember that you need to keep customer service at a high quality level. So don't divert incoming calls to your niece or nephew. Always keep it professional. Because of the downturn in sales, you might run into cash flow shortfalls. Make the necessary calls now to the bank, or make sure in whatever way necessary that you have enough cash flow to pay all accounts, including salaries and wages. Now is also a good time to get your social media content created for the festivities and the wishing wells. There could be a number of things that you want to communicate to your clients and customers, and doing it through social media is a grand idea. Just do it well in advance and for a long enough period so that everyone who needs to know that you will be closed over Christmas period knows it. You also want to be the first person wishing them a good time and thank them for their support over the past year. The best time to create this content is now in November. It gives you enough time to check the content and make the necessary changes so that when December hits, you are ready to hit the send button. You also need to prepare for your suppliers that will be closing down and for a good few weeks won't be ordering any supplies, especially those suppliers that you run out of ever so often. Check your stock levels. Check your order and stock issue history, and then decide on what you need to stock up on to see you through into January, at least the first 3 weeks. This will save you time, money, and frustration, and it will make you look and feel well prepared for any emergency of any of your clients, or perhaps a new client that could become a lifelong client if you can deliver at a time when no other plumber can. What could potentially go wrong at any of your clients' premises? Perhaps there is a continuation of an issue that needs monitoring, or it could be just the normal wear and tear of an old system that has an accident waiting to happen. Maybe water running backwards in bathtubs. This time of year, everyone wants to slow down and relax a little. It might be a wonderful opportunity for you to run a promotion on getting certain maintenance work done for a special price, or maybe a 10-point check, Mr. Customer, before you go on holiday. Maybe you can do a ridiculous old ladies promo where you go through every inlet and outlet of the granny's house to replace washers or check for rusty pipes. That's just an example. Remember that this time of year, a lot of people get their annual bonuses. And a lot of times they want to fix things in and around the house. You need to fish for those opportunities and make hay while the sun shines. This is also a brilliant opportunity to think strategically about the future, the coming months and the year ahead. Consider all the areas of your business, things we've already spoken about, your budget, marketing strategy, your vision and mission, getting processes and systems in place. What did you not get time for? Now is your chance to catch up and put those ever-pressing issues to action. Now, there is always some filing or admin, or that proper spring clean of the office or workshop that are waiting patiently for you to attend to. You should technically be doing a stock take of parts and consumables roughly every 3 months, but if you haven't brought that into your planning and monthly tasks, now is a great chance to sort out the storeroom and do a good stock take. That will also offer an opportunity to define what level of high turnover stock you need to order to be prepared for the unplanned emergency jobs that might come along over the festive season. You can also plan and research for the next budget cycle. It might only start in March or even later in the year, but it's never too early to start thinking and planning for the big ticket items on your wish list, of the new technology and the tools that you want to bring into your asset register. Fun things, yay. Team buildings and strategic brainstorming days are definitely a great idea at the end of the year. I know this is not new information, but it's worth mentioning. Let the team get a chance to laugh and connect a little after a long year's hard work. Make sure there are a lot of photos taken of them having fun and connecting with each other on a different level. Then frame the best ones and put it up in the office. It is these memories that helps at times when things are really tough or when trauma strikes. Also, if you have photos of previous events, go dig them out and show it to the team again, just to remind them of the great times you guys have had in the past. Have you ever noticed how it makes you feel when you look at photos or images of happy people or places where you have been or that you have always wanted to visit? Photos of happy times with the people you care about, your family, your colleagues, your friends, kids. It has got wonderful positive impact on your emotions. That is why big marketing companies use those images to sell products and ideas to the intended market. November or early December is also a great time to say thank you to customer staff and your family and your friends. It is also a fact, it's a known fact, that you cannot be successful without other people's input, impact, or support. Give a genuine thank you. They surely deserve it. Celebrate your team's achievements over the last year, but also take a moment to think and remember the lows of the year. Not to make the team depressed, but rather to think about it fully consciously and objectively and to learn from those moments and maybe to laugh about it. It might not have been funny then, but it might be hilarious now. Throw a lekker party for your team, but give it meaning by showing a little bit of gratitude. Doesn't have to be monetized. Sometimes just the gesture of a thank you gift, however small, can go a long way with building morale and make you feel appreciated. For yourself and your own emotional software update. Talk to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Forgive if you have to. Remember that forgiveness is a rather selfish thing. You are not doing it to condone an action, a word, or an offense, but you are doing it to set yourself free from it. Do it for yourself. If there's someone in the team that you have noticed to be lonely, or you just haven't asked recently how they are doing, do it now. It is also a great time of year to share a feel-good story by writing a blog on your website or on a social media platform. Again, not something that you do for anyone else more than you are doing it for yourself. You might not be a writer, but just try it once. You might be pleasantly surprised by how good you will feel after doing it. Now, this is the season for family and friends. Best is to undercommit on work issues and commitments. You can rather over-deliver when the chance comes along. Spend time with your people and rest, but not from what has happened and how busy you were over the last year, but rather from what is coming. It is a simple, mindful decision to not rest from the past, but to rest for the future. That is proven to give a true restful experience, and it is rather uplifting. It is really just the way you look at it. Your brain is a wonderful and powerful tool, and your conscious mind, what you think and decide on, influences the use of it. You can tell yourself how tired you are, or you can tell yourself that you must rest now and savor these special moments with family and friends, because the next year will be loaded with success and lots of important decisions and actions that will be taking your business to the next level. Prepare yourself mentally in a positive way for the coming year. I really hope that you could take a few of these silly season survival tips and find value in acting on it. Always remember that you are responsible for your own rest and happiness. Being always busy is not necessarily being always productive. Sometimes rest is the best ingredient for being constructive and effective. Are there any questions or comments?
Thank you very much. I don't think there are any questions or comments. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do have any, please post it in the Q&A. Thank you very much. Is there anything you'd like to add, Steve?
Yeah, I think.
Nothing. Awesome.
Sorry, Linda.
Yes, no, you go.
Yeah, I think the other thing also is just reflect on the goals that you had, for this year. Have a look at and see, did you achieve them? Where did you sort of fall short? Where can you do better? And yeah, I concur with you with regards to just taking a break. I think sometimes we burn the candle at both ends and in the middle, and it sometimes becomes challenging. And I think looking at a structure in terms of life, I know, and I was guilty of it, is looking at it from the point of view of family, spending that time with family, being able to prepare, and don't put yourself under too much pressure. If you've had a bad year, communication and talking puts you in good stead to make sure that next year is going to be better than where you are. So we'll have two camps. We'll have those that have had a good year, and we'll have those that have got a tough year. And I think both can learn from each other in terms of the planning, communicating, making sure that you learn from the mistakes made, and focusing on that success rate. And communication between the team makes a hell of a difference in terms of that. We just finished our reviews in terms of staff over the last sort of year, and it's good to reflect, on those good times and just identifying places where we can do better. So yeah, thank you, Linda, for everything you've done this year. I really do appreciate all your effort and the insight that you give us in terms of business. Thank you.
Absolutely, Steve. It's my pleasure. Yes, I fully agree on you with what you're saying. It's good to reflect on your goals. It's what we call a lag measure. Is looking back at what had happened, what did go right and what did go wrong, and then making a good decision and creating a lead measure out of that, the action plan of how can we do it better next time. So that's absolutely true. And thank you very much for the opportunity that I've been given to share my insight and thoughts on business. And I hope that it's meaningful and that you guys can get something meaningful and value out of it.
Yeah, Linda, I think, in terms of where we are, I think you've been great, and we're looking forward to next year in terms of the input that you put. And it's just, sometimes it's just one word. It's just one penny that drops. You could go half an hour and it's just that one penny that drops, and suddenly the light comes on and says, oh, I need to be able to do this. And I think that, we take from this, and we just need to plumerize it, if I want to call it that, and just get it to work in our businesses and the focus that we have. And as I say, thank you so much. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.